Okay, we are recording. Isabel, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I can see you again. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I mean, just to give this podcast a little bit of context, Isabel's sitting on the beach, like literally by the side of the sea. We're recording this on I think the hottest day in Great Britain or whatever.
Yeah,
And yeah, Isabel's literally just told me that as soon as we're done, she's going to go and run into the sea. So I'm very jealous. But
that's the only place to be. It's melting. It's hotter than California right now here.
oh, it's ridiculous. I'm not complaining though. I'm not complaining. I
No.
literally got back from Barcelona on Sunday, and I know like normally like you get off the plane on holiday and feel like you're on like in a hot country. I got off the plane in the UK, which normally means right, stick your coat on, stick your hat on because it's going to be freezing. And it was warmer getting off in the UK than what it was in Spain. It's ridiculous. Well, this is
But then tomorrow that changes, right? It's like back to just the usual
I would have
tomorrow.
thought so. We don't get a lot of it. Max it while we can.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, all
We'll
right.
be in
Well,
the
look.
thing soon enough. Let's go.
Um, okay. Well, look. Before we get into your song picks today, Isabel, I want to ask you, please, just sort of cast your mind back to times when we weren't allowed to go and hang out on beaches and go and hang out with each other. I'm interested in lockdown a little bit and just how you found that 18 months, how you found that both personally and creatively.
Um, it's been quite wild, hasn't it? I mean, it's been tough for all of us in like so many different ways. I feel. Don't know. Yeah. No, we never really saw this coming, did we? So, well, I didn't anyway. For me, it was. I've been in different countries throughout it, which has been really weird. So, that's been it's been an unsettled time for all of us, but yeah, definitely for me as well. But creatively, quite good because, well, I mean, it's the world's changed, the world's changing, so much is happening everywhere. We've got to pay attention to that and adapt. And it's been sad for, and it really like lots of grief for so many
Yeah.
people, but then we've still got each other to reach out to and stuff, so it's like a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to even find words, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about something a little more fun, I guess, and that's the constant joy that is music. And to start your playlist, Isabel, I'm going to ask you please to tell me the song that you regard as having the greatest ever intro, please.
My song is Temps de l'amour by Francois Hardy. I just love the surf. Dong, 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 dong. I love it in Moonrise Kingdom, and because like I love Wes Anderson, and it's such a lovely. I've always adored her, Francois Hardy, and like she's one of the reasons why I even attempted to sing, really, because I didn't know that you could if you weren't like Janis Joplin or Aretha Franklin. You know what I mean? So the intro is just, it's this surf guitar. Like I love surf guitar, and I don't know, those old French records, they're just like the coolest. Like they just sound so cool. Like they have the perfect reverbs, the perfect twang. It's just my favorite.
In regards to intros, Isabel, like when you're writing, the kind of the way that pop music seems to be going, seems to be getting shorter, and there seems to be lots of kind of artists now and songwriters like straight away start with the chorus, and I guess a lot of that is driven by pop artists wanting to sort of feature on Spotify playlists and all of these things that seem to be part of the machine now to kind of get your music further afield. And I just wonder, when you're writing, does any of that kind of trends in songwriting and playlists and ever sort of filter into your creative process?
I'm sure it must, like, like, subconsciously, but actually I'm such an old git, like I'm there's no, like, I mean, I don't even think I realize what an old git I am, like,
Yeah.
because I'm just like kind of young inside, but I don't think about any of it, like, cause like, first of all, take the rule book and then just throw it away, and then
Yeah.
second, like that's always been I've always been a misfit and a weirdo. So, but also the machine, to my mind, is pretty janky. It's like a bit broken. So
Sorry, did you just say the word janky?
Yeah, janky.
Yes. I thought calling something jank was very Essex. Like, that's the first, and also that's the first I've heard anyone else say janky. I'm loving that.
Janky. I like I've heard Americans use that word, and like it's janky. Like I use that word all the time. There's a lot of jank in this life.
I'm loving that.
But yeah. So no, I just don't. I'm totally.
Okay.
I'm like the commercial. I'm like in my own orbit. I was sync with a lot, but just owning it. So.
Okay. Well,
but I know people do like, oh yeah, let's do this or that. I mean, I got asked to like songwriting things, and I'm just like, no, it's not my bag. It's not for me.
Well, I'm going to take you back now, and I'm going to ask you, Isobel, please, to tell me the first song that you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
That was Bright Eyes by Art Garfunkel.
That'd do it, wouldn't it?
That's because I'm a note. It would do it, like, because I remember just being like, when I was looking to research the question for you, I even like I watched and I start crying immediately, like it's just like too sad. The oboe introduction
and that's without Dead Rabbits.
I know. It's when Hazel. It's like when it's when Hazel dies, and I remember watching it. Gutted. I was completely gutted.
I honestly think I'm 49 years of age, and I think that was probably the first time I encountered death and emotion in general. I was devastated when I saw that. Throwing Art Garfunkel's vocals, it's carnage, isn't it?
And because his voice is like so evocative anyway, and then add Dead Rabbits and just like the tune and like because even like on the early Simon and Garfunkel stuff, it's like, he would bring a tear to a glass eye, that one. And but yeah, Bright Eyes, it was a no-brainer. I didn't like, sometimes questions are hard and I was like, don't know, but yeah, Bright Eyes. Ooh, every time.
I'll tell you how much that scarred me, right? That scene in that film, right? About 15 years ago, I was driving home from I work in a nightclub, and I was driving home from there, and I run a rabbit over in the middle of the road. But before I run it over, it literally, this is pathetic, made eye contact with me, right? And that was it. I was just like, oh no. And it all come back. I could hear Art Garfunkel, and I was like, that's it. And I thought, right, and I did meet after that for 9 years. I was like, that's it. I just can't go back. That's just absolutely destroyed me. And I blame Watership Down and Art Garfunkel and Bright Eyes essentially for that.
Yeah,
But,
it's a heart wrencher.
but it won Art Garfunkel. He didn't write it, did he? I think Mike Batt wrote that, didn't he?
That's true. That's the Wombles guy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's got to be rough, isn't
I
it?
actually had a manager that was he went on Top of the Pops dressed as a Womble, a manager that I had once. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you're at a dinner party and you just drop that in, that's a killer line, isn't it? I was a Womble with Mike Batt on the Pops.
No, I'd love to have been a Womble. Remember, you're a Womble.
Oh dear. Did you ever get to do Top of the Pops?
I did. Why did my screen go dark? Oh, never mind. Yes, I did. We did Belle and Sebastian, Legal Man. We did it.
Tell me about that, because I'm fascinated, Isobel, with people that I presume you grew up watching Top of the Pops and it being, you know, your insight into what pop stars look like and getting to see them perform, and it was an institution, wasn't it? And I'm always fascinated when I speak to people on here that have that got on Top of the Pops, if it delivered when you finally got to the studio and you know you're on Top of the Pops. Did it feel like? And it sounds stupid, but did it feel like, right, I've made it now, I'm on Top of the Pops? Like, tell me about the experience for you.
I was a bit depressed afterwards because we did it, and I'm a bit like that Peggy Lee song, you know, like, is that all there is? Like, is that all there is to a circus? Is that all there is to Top of the Pops? We did it. I was like really nervous, but it was like so exciting.
Yeah.
But and like Chrissie Hynde was in the bar afterwards, and she had kicked her shoes off, and her stockings were laddered, and she was like, as they say in Glasgow, she was getting it loudsy. She was like playing guitar and singing in the bar.
Everything you'd expect Chrissie Hynde to be doing, right?
That was fun. And then the rest of the band, they went to and broke into the EastEnders set and went to the Queen Vic and stuff.
And had a beer in the Queen Vic. How cool was that?
And they got like Richard, the drummer, had like a PP in Albert Square, and then they ended up like they were in the Queen Vic like pulling pints and like posing at the bar, and then they got chased by security. But the whole time I was just like mesmerized by Chrissie Hynde. I was just like mesmerized, thinking, "Wow, you're like you're dynamite," you know. But that was Top of the Pops. But afterwards, it was like, for me, I've always had a bit of a morose streak. But like afterwards, I think I was like, ah, I've done that. That's over now. Oh. So
it's never that exciting when you get to actually look behind the curtain, is it? It's always a bit more magical on the other side, isn't it?
Like in The Wizard of Oz, like, but I'd like to look behind the curtain one day and then be like, oh my god, that's the best thing ever. It was exciting, and but it was good, and I'm glad we did it. I still think it exists. Like, why is there no Top of the Pops? Like, it's
crazy, right?
Weird. Yeah. It's like weird to think.
I'm going to stay in the formative years for the next track, Isobel, and I'm going to ask you please to tell me the song that reminds you of your time at school, please.
Oh, I didn't see that question.
Oh.
But it was. Yes, no, I do. I tell a lie. Ghostbusters. Junior. Who you gonna call? That's one primary. Like, we were all mad for Ghostbusters. And Ray Parker Jr.
But do you know what? It's like, you look back and laugh now, but at the time, like, it was just the coolest thing ever, Ghostbusters, wasn't it?
It was. And all the ghosties, and like when they escaped, and just like what's his face? Bill Murray. Like, I mean, he's always the coolest, but yeah. Because we were talking about it, like going to the cinema to see it, and like Cameron Glenn, like, he's like, oh, it was that, and like Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical.
Oh.
I remember we all had a big discussion about that video afterwards.
Yeah, I think I would have been about 12 or 11 or 12 when that come out, and yeah, that resonated, that video. I remember thinking, that Sandy from Greece has had an upgrade to this. This is like, oh my God, how do I deal with this?
Yeah, she got a little naughty. She got a little naughty. Yeah.
How did you find school, Isobel? Was it an experience you enjoyed?
I loved it. Like I'd say early. Well, apart from like, I was the first kid in my year to get a punishment exercise. I got one in like primary 2 for like whipping a boy with my skipping ropes, but I just felt like the headmaster's hand just like on my shoulder, like yanking me off. But I liked school. I loved it until I was about 14, and then I hated it. But I was like thrown out of a music school, and because I downed like a whole bottle of vodka and been unconscious, which is fair enough. So I kind of struggled with the rules. So when I got older, I couldn't wait to leave, and just like the conformity, I couldn't really. I didn't see the point.
Did you know what you wanted to do when you was at school? Was music something that was already starting to kind of, find an important place in you?
I definitely wanted to do music, but I didn't think I would be able to. Like, I wanted to, but my granny was like, be a nurse. And I'm like, I don't want to be. It's very noble, but I don't want to. And then she's like, be a nurse or get into computers. Like, if I'd got into computers, I mean, woe betide the world if I'd got into computers. It'd be really bad.
So do you think that's because I wanted to be a musician when I was at school, and it certainly wasn't encouraged, and I didn't necessarily think it was something that I could be. Do you think that's a working class thing?
Computers?
No, wanting to be a music, but not really thinking it was possible.
Maybe, but like I remember, but I always think for working class, right? Like, see, in our day, I am an old git. Like in our day, I feel like you could be like David Beckham, or you could be like a football star, or you could be a rock star. And for working class people, like that was a way to like get. I don't know. Is that still possible these days? I'm not sure.
I don't know. There wasn't many.
Maybe not. Maybe in sport, but maybe not as much in music.
Yeah, I think the arts definitely. Maybe it helps if you come from money. There certainly wasn't anybody called Benedict Cumberbatch in my school. I know that.
No, or Farquhar de la. It's like I know it's a bit. I think like the way it went, that like that I've definitely heard myself saying that like it's gone back to the days of like Beethoven, and like you can be like a sort of, it's either for rich people, the music business, or you can be like a rich person's pet, like sort of musician to the courts and the king, which is it all kind of stinks a bit.
Yeah,
I've definitely caught, like I think now, like unless you're really really like everything lines up and is fantastic, like you either have to be like well established, or so many, it's just very different to what it used to be.
Absolutely. Last one in the formative years. I'm going to ask you, please, Isabel, tell me the first song you remember buying from a record shop.
It was Fiona McClellan and I, and we went to Boots when it sold music, Boots the chemist, and I bought the 7-inch of Taylor Dane, Tell It to My Heart, and she bought I Should Be So Lucky, Kylie Minogue. But we the idea was that we would share, but we didn't really share. So
I mean, that's a cool little pop song, isn't it? Tell It to My Heart.
Yes, it is. It's quite like it rings true to this day. Like it's quite a
And if I remember rightly, I think she I had someone on the podcast ages ago that Lucia, what was her second name? She grew up with Taylor Dane, and I think they were like all pals with like Madonna, and apparently they were all sort of like young scallies in New York in the early 80s, and they all sort of tried to sort of find their way. Obviously Madonna's story was well documented, but Taylor Dane had her moment. There was that. Prove Your Love, that was the next one, wasn't it? Like she had a few tunes.
Oh God, I need to check that out now. But was she a New Yorker then?
I think so. Yeah. Like, but that was a cracking little tune. Tell It to My Heart.
Yeah. Like, where is she now?
I don't know.
Not in Essex. Maybe she's in Essex.
I'd be surprised.
I think I got my cello in Essex. I had to go to Southend-on-Sea to get my cello.
Have you been to Southend?
Just once to get my cello.
Oh right, I was like you went down there. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
During in between the lockdowns, like in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, it's overrated, Isabel. I wouldn't rush back. It looks quite lovely where you are right now. That seaside looks a lot nicer than Southend.
Well, it's all right.
Tell me a little bit about.
It's a mixed bag. It's definitely, trust me. Trust me.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with the record shop as you grew older.
With the record shop?
Was that something that become an important part of your life, record shops?
Oh yeah, like especially like around the ages of like 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I'd go there all the time, and especially vinyl.
Yeah.
I'd always be like sort of snapping up stuff and discovering stuff. And I can remember the first time I went to London and bought like Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. Like I was just in a record shop in Notting Hill, and I said, I don't know, should I buy this to just a stranger? And he was like, definitely buy it, definitely buy it. Yeah, no, I love record shops.
Do you still find yourself sort of, if you're floating about and you see a record shop, you still dive in there?
I can do. I don't, because I've moved so much like in the past 2 years. I don't have a record player yet, and my records are like in a shed at my cousin's in Scotland. So but sure, one day, like I seem to have lots of friends that have big record collections, so I just kind of enjoy that. But Spotify's handy, isn't it? As much as everyone vilifies it and stuff.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's like everything you moan about. He's also got some really good things that if you want to discover new music, it's so good for that, isn't it?
So handy, isn't it? You can just like at the push of a button, like at your fingertips. Yeah, it's really.
Absolutely.
But you can't. But vinyl for me, it's like about vinyl and the records and like the 12 inches. You can't really. It's just so aesthetically, it's just comforting. And
I'm always really mindful not to sort of sound like an old granddad when I start talking about my love of vinyl and things like that. And I do think that modern ways to get music have definitely got their positives and pluses as well. But the one thing I do find that I think is lost where you no longer get vinyl or even CDs is like I don't think people appreciate cover art as much anymore. I think when you'd pick up a record, that cover art would pop, wouldn't it, if it was good? And I think now if you're just looking at it on your iPhone on Spotify, you don't get to sort of see the work that's gone into it, you know?
Yeah, I know it just doesn't really translate. And also, it's just nice to have like a, oh, that old wino went away. That was quite weird. He was just like listening into it, like you were like, oh, looks lovely where you are, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's a mixed bag. He was like totally like earwigging, and he was like spitting. He's drinking a big thing of cider, like Strongbow, like 2 liters. But anyway, he's gone now. So, but I felt like I felt judged. I felt like he was judging my answers. He's going, eh.
Plenty of that in Southend, Isobel. Plenty of that in Southend.
Oh yeah, it's plenty of that here. It's like I go about here and I'm like, oh my god, I'm from Glasgow. And I'm like shocked. like my jaw is like on the pavement. I'm like, oh my god. It's an education. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Not in LA anymore.
Right, I'll tell you what, Isabel, we're going clubbing. Tell me the song that soundtracked your years in Clubland, please. And this hasn't got to be stainless steel, glossy high street clubs. It can be sweaty dive bars, your local indie night. It can be anything.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a clubber. I think I tried maybe 2 or 3 times, and I'd end up just like standing by the toilets and not really, just standing by the toilets and not really understanding or getting it. So, but we would go to the art school all the time. Like the guy that used to, I think he was involved with like Splash One, like the early days of like the Mary Chain and Primal Scream and stuff. Like, but he and Andrew Devine, like, so he ran a club in the Vic Bar at Glasgow School of Art, and it was called Divine, and that's where we would go like every Saturday. And he's like a legend. Like he's inspired like so many fans, and like he was always telling me about new tracks, and he's like for me, like I'm always like outraged. He's like an unsung hero, like seriously. But so my track would probably be the new Sonics, like Have Love Will Travel.
Oh,
like it's a real garage, like that's I'm not a clubber. Like I was hanging out with a friend the other week, and I'm like, Granny don't know what tunes to put on. Like, so I can do garage, I can do psychedelia, clubbing. No, don't know it.
But that tune's got such a groove to it as well, though, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. Good, you can dance to that.
Are you a dancer? Do you like to dance?
Oh, I am. Like when I was a kid, my best friend, like Anna, her mum used to call me Dancing Isobel, because she'd like, oh, is that Dancing Isobel? Because I would like, we'd be dancing to like Bucks Fizz, like Hands Up, Baby, Hands Up. That somehow feels Essex to me as well. I'm sure some of them must be from Essex, but and I'd win all the dancing competitions. Yeah, I love dancing, and as an old lady, as an old git, I'm loving it even more. I'm just dancing through life.
All right. Well, look, we've been talking.
The sun's gone to my head.
Well, we've been talking about my home county of Essex, but for track 6, I want to take you home to your home county. Isobel, tell me a favourite song from your home county, please.
Falling and Laughing by Orange Juice.
Oh, what a record!
It opens the record. You Can't Hide Your Love Forever, and God, even the lyrics. Like I was just listening to it this morning and yesterday to just for these questions, and I'm just like, oh, it's still so true. Like it's just excellent. Yeah.
How important as somebody that wanted to be involved in music in Scotland, how important were bands like Orange Juice and the postcard scene and that for you? How was that just something real special?
so special because, like, obviously, like, I didn't really know them. It's like in one of the many record shops, like Echo, there was one in town in Glasgow, and that's when I found the 12-inch of "You Can't Hide Your Love Forever," and but it's like it makes it real, like it makes it seem possible. If someone's from where you are and they're doing what you would like to do, it's like, oh, check out these guys. They did it. Like they did it, and it's just like because they're kind of like arty, like we all.
I've just lost Isobel, so I'm sure she'll be coming back any minute now.
Hi, sorry about that.
That's all right. I lost you for a sec.
I'll tell you what happened. Tell you what happened. Oops. Is that going to bugger everything up?
No, not at all.
My friend called me, and I was like, I'm doing it. Like, she was like, oh no. So it came up. Like, she was calling the one I'm going for a swim with.
Yeah.
She called me, and I managed to befriend. Unknowingly, I befriended an American without even knowing I was befriending an American.
How does that happen? Doesn't the voice kind of give it away?
No, because she sounds like the Queen. She speaks like the Queen of England, but she is actually like her mom and dad are Puerto Rican, so she doesn't have a British passport. So anyway, I was like, oh, that's fresh off the boat from America, and my best friend is an American.
Love it.
Even to get to Essex, make some friends in Essex.
I like
the waitress there. We are not posh enough. We don't have a waitress.
Is there a Waitrose in?
Thank God I can't afford Waitrose anyway. So, but yeah, you've got a nice one in South. I think it was Southend.
I may well. I'm not that close. I'm about sort of 15 minutes from Southend, but yeah.
I thought it was nice. Southend.
Yeah, it's all right. It's got a nice little live venue there. I run a venue there. Are you
in a band as well?
Not anymore, no. But I've run a sort of. It's like it's the longest running sort of alternative club in the UK. It's called the Pink Toothbrush, and it's
cool.
and it's a kind of weird, smelly, crazy little mad club that it used to be called Crocs, Isobel, back in the early 80s, and it was like Depeche Mode with a resident band, and it kind of happened with the sort of big sort of new romantic movement. Culture Club played their first show there, and it's just weird. It's so not Essex, but it's kind of outlived all the other clubs in Essex. All the kind of
all I know is the only one I know is like Strawberry Moon and Maidstone, and the only that's Kent. That's not even Essex.
That's Kent.
The only reason I know that. That's the guy I worked with. He said like after one of the lockdowns that he was going to put on a pair of platforms and go to. He's an old git as well, so what can I say? We just talk nonsense.
Love it. Right, Isobel, last track, and what I'm gonna do is you can play Tastemaker now. Can you tell me a song, please, that you think many people may not know that you would like them to listen to?
Well, I'm not sure how famous she is, but it's a song, and it's the live version recorded at Carnegie Hall by Melanie. Some Say I Got Devil. Just an amazing song. I feel like it could be definitely a soundtrack for my life or something. It's beautiful. Do you know it?
Of course, yeah, it's a lovely song.
It's probably really famous. Probably everyone knows it, but to me, it was when I heard it, I made an impression. So.
Oh, it's a beautiful record, and what we do is, we put together a little Spotify playlist of all the songs that you've picked, so people can go and listen to it. And if there's records like that one that they've not heard, then they can go and check it out. I know you're about to have a swim in a moment, but looking a little bit sort of past there, what's coming up the rest of this year for you, mate?
I'm working on a new record.
Wonderful.
Doing that, and working on a box set of it will take a while, but we're reissuing the Campbell and Lanigan albums. So because I had I'm honestly, it's like I live under a rock, but I didn't know that the vinyl wasn't available. So we're doing that, doing my new records. Hopefully some other nice things will happen.
Lovely.
Trying to stay out of trouble.
Where are you at with the new record? Are you writing at the moment, or are you recording?
I've recorded half, and I've written, I'd say, I've got quite a few to finish. So I'm I'd say 3/4 of the way there. It's quite nice. It's quite close. And I also, talking of Depeche Mode, I just collaborated. Have you heard of a project called The Humanist? Rob Marshall, he lives here as well. He collaborated also. He wrote a lot of Gargoyle from Mark Lanigan, but we collaborated on his records, and but I think he worked with the singer. What's the guy from Depeche Mode? The singer called Dave.
Dave Garm. Yeah.
Yeah. He worked with him quite a lot.
Oh, so, nice.
So that's a new nice collaborator that's been nice for me to meet. So yeah.
Oh, lovely. Well, honestly, it's been a proper joy having a chat with you,
Isobel.
Yeah,
it's been really nice I really enjoyed it. It's cheered me up. Today was a bit of a struggle. It was just so hot. Earlier, it was just I can't do anything, because anything try and do it. It's just I went to the park to try and exercise. I just couldn't. It was just too hot. So yeah, giving up.
Well, I will love you and leave you and let you go and cool down and jump in that cold sea behind you, because it looks glorious, mate.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Isobel. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks.
See you soon, mate. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.